Episode 28, Emptiness is Color, Color is Emptiness. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao couldn't be bothered with anyone to avoid wasting time on unnecessary entanglements. He directly accepted the room card and continued to walk briskly forward. Seeing him take the card, Zhu Xiangqing finally breathed a sigh of relief, but he still worried about whether Lu Tingxiao would actually go. Lu Jingli, with a face full of ambiguity, followed behind. Wow. Brother, you're really fortunate. Zhu Xiangqing is desperate this time, he will definitely pull out all the stops. So, the woman he found for you must be extraordinary. Brother, do you want it? With a wife already, you won't even glance at her. How about giving me the room card? I'm quite curious about what kind of celestial being Zhu Xiangqing has found for you. Lu Tingxiao's fingertips moved slightly, and the next moment, the room card flew straight towards Lu Jingli. Precisely catching it with 2 fingers, Lu Jingli's face lit up with joy. Then I'll be off. Hey, room 808, the presidential suite. Lu Jingli, holding the room card, hummed a song and happily walked towards the rear guest room area. The elevator ascended directly to the top floor. Lu Jingli, with one hand in his pocket, walked straight to the end of the corridor. At the door, he extended the room card, and with a click, the door opened. Before entering, Lu Jingli hesitated. He had only come to watch the fun. What if the woman inside enchanted him, and he couldn't leave? Although he was a proponent of a single life, he was a decent person and only accepted proper romantic relationships. With a creak, the door was finally pushed open. Upon opening the door, the first thing that met his eyes was a king-size bed covered with red rose petals. On the bed lay a woman, and amid the petals, a glimpse of an extremely translucent nightgown could be seen, along with 2 legs that were both white and straight. Just those beautiful legs were enough to make a man's mind wander. Zhu Xiangqing had indeed spared no expense this time. Thinking and continuing a few steps inside, Lu Jingli then saw the woman's face. Although her eyes were covered with a white lace cloth, he still recognized who the woman in the bed was at a glance. Lu Jingli was as if he had seen a fierce beast, and he jumped backward, his body hitting the door with a loud sound. Immediately after, he slammed the door shut with a bang, then, like a gust of wind, ran downstairs. He ran all the way to the entrance of the garage and happened to see Lu Tingxiao's car coming out from inside. So, he threw himself over, blocking his way. After a screeching brake sound, Lu Tingxiao barely stopped the car, his face extremely unpleasant. Lu Jingli pounded on the car window, then, as Lu Tingxiao opened his mouth to reprimand him, he forcefully pulled him out of the car like a madman, urging him as if the house were on fire. Brother, come with me quickly. What's the matter? It's extremely urgent. Extremely urgent. Come with me, and you'll know. Right now, there's only one thing for me. I know you're only thinking about sister-in-law right now. This matter is also related to sister-in-law. So, Lu Tingxiao immediately followed him. In this way, the 2 rushed back to the presidential suite 808. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the door in front of him, his expression frosty, using his eyes to signal Lu Jingli to give him an explanation of why he had been brought here suddenly. Wiping his face, Lu Jingli clicked open the electronic lock. Go in and see for yourself. At the words, Lu Tingxiao's face changed slightly, almost immediately realizing what might be inside. The next moment, the girl fully opened her eyes. In the moment when her eyes, filled with despair and clarity, reflected the figure of the man, she first showed a confused expression, then quickly a mist of water vapor spread, turning into large drops of tears. They fell one by one, seemingly endless. Ningxi. Lu Tingxiao was completely flustered by the girl's tears. What's wrong? Where does it hurt? I'm sorry for being late. Don't cry. I'll take you to the hospital. Don't cry, okay? His heart was almost stopping its beating. Ningxi's eyes were red, and tears couldn't be stopped. She forcefully extended her hands but only lifted them halfway before they dropped back down. Do you want to get up? Lu Tingxiao immediately leaned over to help her sit up. About to help her off the bed, the girl's arms suddenly wrapped around his neck, her head buried tightly in his shoulder. Her body trembled with sobs, and tears quickly soaked his clothes, flowing down his neck. Lu Tingxiao's heart was in agony. He gently patted her back, like tapping on fragile glass. Don't be afraid. It's okay now. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Due to extreme panic and fear, Ningxi cried for more than 10 minutes before stopping, hiccuping. Lu Tingxiao, tirelessly, helped her burp gently. Afraid of startling her, he stiffened his body, not daring to move. After a while, Ningxi finally calmed down, and with a hoarse voice that was soft and helpless, she said near his ear, "Fortunately, it's you." She said, "Fortunately, it's you." These 4 words echoed heavily in his heart, producing a resounding resonance. At some point, maybe even she hadn't noticed, his girl had come to trust him so much. Ningxi forced a bitter smile, intermittently saying, "Lu Tingxiao, you don't know how terrible my day was today. Before seeing you, I was already doubting life, almost desperate for this world." She thought she was indestructible. She believed that nothing could defeat her. But when the events of that night 5 years ago were about to happen again, she couldn't bear the collapse. She had considered it before. Zhu Xiangqing wasn't her choice, he must be trying to please someone else. Birds of a feather flock together, and those who hang out with Zhu Xiangqing must be even more disgusting men. Now, she couldn't be more relieved that her speculation was wrong. She never expected that the person Zhu Xiangqing was trying to impress was Lu Tingxiao. A flash of killing intent passed through Lu Tingxiao's eyes, but when he spoke, his tone was extremely gentle. "I'm sorry for involving you. I originally intended to help you out that night, but it caused a misunderstanding with Zhu Xiangqing. I didn't expect him to do something like this. How can it be your fault? You were helping me." After saying this, Ningxi realized she was still leaning on the other person. She quickly tried to sit up, feeling awkward. "I'm sorry, I stained your clothes." The girl, with tear streaks on her face, knelt there. Without the cover of the petals, the thin fabric she wore seemed like she wasn't wearing anything at all. Lu Tingxiao cleared his throat and averted his gaze. "It's okay." As Ningxi tried to sit up, there was a moment of swaying. Lu Tingxiao quickly supported her. "Are you okay? I'll take you to the hospital." Ningxi shook her flushed face. "There's no point going to the hospital for this kind of thing." Lu Tingxiao, can I ask you for a favor?" "What?" Lu Tingxiao subconsciously tensed his nerves. "The blindfold. Can you help me put it on again?" Ningxi whispered. A hint of surprise flashed across Lu Tingxiao's face. "Why?" Ningxi helplessly explained, "Because out of sight, out of mind." Though Ningxi's statement was inexplicable, Lu Tingxiao instantly understood. He lightly coughed, picked up the white lace cloth thrown on the ground, and gently covered her eyes, readying it for her. As Lu Tingxiao approached, a flame suddenly surged within Ningxi's body. She quickly recited to herself, "Emptiness is color, color is emptiness," until he moved away, and the turmoil in her body gradually calmed down. "Is it okay now?" Lu Tingxiao asked. Ningxi nodded. "There's one more thing I need your help with. I have no strength left in my body. Can you please help me to the bathroom? I'll take a cold bath." "Wait a moment. I'll go and run the water for you." "Thank you." The sound of rushing water echoed from the bathroom, clearly audible in the quiet room. In the same situation where she couldn't see, this time, she felt strangely at ease. After a while, the sound of water stopped, and footsteps approached. "Can you walk?" Lu Tingxiao asked. "It should be okay. Support me a little." Lu Tingxiao reached out his arm to support her, maintaining a considerate distance, with only their arms touching. Finally immersed in the icy water, Ningxi let out a comfortable sigh. Lu Tingxiao's expression tightened. "I'll go out first. If you need anything, call me. Also, don't stay in the water for too long. Be careful not to catch a cold." "Okay." Lu Tingxiao turned and left, his back revealing a somewhat hurried and embarrassed appearance. Once outside, he opened the hotel room door, only to see a figure falling in with a plop due to lack of support. Lan Jingli crawled up, patted his butt, and stood up. While sneakily glancing inside the room, he said, "Cough, hee. I just didn't trust you guys. No other intentions, absolutely no gossiping." Lu Tingxiao showed a face that clearly expected him to hide at the door, his tone cold. "Go to the car and bring something for me." Lan Jingli's mouth formed an O shape. "Bro, are you out of your mind? In this situation, you actually want to look at something? Are you even a man?" Lu Tingxiao gave him a sharp glance. "Do you need me to prove it to you?" No need. I'm going. His brother's method of proof was definitely a particularly manly beating. After bringing the item, Lan Jingli listened to the faint water sounds inside, sighed sadly, and complained, "Why take a cold bath? You should personally go in and be the antidote for her. Such a waste. Too wasteful." Lu Tingxiao replied, "You can leave now." "I actually don't want to leave. I want to stay and accompany you through every spring, summer, autumn, and winter, Lan Jingli sang as he left without any reluctance. Back in the room, Lu Tingxiao forced himself to ignore the blurry figure behind the bathroom frosted glass door. He focused his attention on the item in his hand. Well, the efficiency was quite high. 2 pages of paper read in half an hour. At this moment, an urgent cry came from the bathroom, Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao quickly dropped what he was holding and ran to the bathroom door. Ningxi, what's wrong? I'm here. Come Go in? Hurry up. Hurry up. What's wrong with you? Lu Tingxiao's tone became increasingly nervous, but he didn't dare to rashly push the door open. My leg is cramping, it's cramping. Help me quickly. Oh. Lu Tingxiao sighed, a mix of relief and helplessness, and quickly pushed the door open. Because it was cold water, there was no steam inside. Her clothes were completely soaked, becoming almost transparent. Lu Tingxiao's Adam's apple rolled slightly. Although he wasn't drugged, the current level of torment was probably not inferior to Ningxi's. Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao? Ningxi's urgency brought him back to his senses. Lu Tingxiao hurried over. Which leg? Right leg, right leg. Ningxi's face turned pale with pain. Lu Tingxiao didn't have time to think too much. He decisively grabbed her ankle with one hand, the other hand covering her thigh, forcefully stretching and massaging. Is it okay? No, it still hurts. Apply more force. And now? It hurts. Gently. How about now? Almost. In just a few minutes, Lu Tingxiao's entire body was covered in sweat. He exhaustedly placed her leg back. The next moment, Lu Tingxiao's peripheral vision suddenly noticed several glaring red marks on her body and legs. His face immediately turned cold. What happened to your body? Did Zhu Shengqing do this? My body? Ningxi instinctively touched a slightly sore spot on her thigh. You mean here? These are from when I was doing aerial yoga today. Lu Tingxiao's complexion eased, then he furrowed his brow again. I'll go buy medicine for you. After expressing his concern, he looked at her. You can't soak any longer, you'll get sick. Ningxi instinctively shrunk into the water, holding up 10 fingers. 10 more minutes, give me 10 more minutes. I was almost fine, but when you came in. Lu Tingxiao, fine. Lu Tingxiao left the bathroom and opened the hotel room door again. As expected, Lu Jingli rolled in like a ball. Within a second, Lu Jingli got up, bowed, and apologized. Sorry, brother, I'm leaving. Wait, go buy me some medicine, Lu Tingxiao stopped him. What medicine? Lu Jingli wagged his big tail, looking flirtatious. For bruises and injuries. Lu Jingli's eyes lit up like light bulbs. Brother, you're finally showing your power? Lu Tingxiao coldly fixed his gaze on him. Lu Jingli, sorry, my bad. If you're really showing your power, how could it be in such a short time? I'll go run errands for you. In less than 5 minutes, Lu Jingli bought the medicine and ran back, proudly saying, Brother, why don't you let me guard outside directly? I can run errands for you anytime, how about that? Lu Tingxiao glanced at him obliquely. If I see you for the 3rd time, the consequences would be very severe. Lu Jingli could only sigh regretfully and then, with a sly smile, took a small square box out of his pocket. Brother, I bought this on the way. It must be better than the ones the hotel gives. Are you sure you don't need it? Lu Jingli was kicked out with one swift kick. After putting down the medicine, Lu Tingxiao was about to knock on the door to check if Ningxi was okay when the bathroom door was pulled open from the inside with a splash. Ningxi, tightly wrapped in a huge bath towel, bounced out like a caterpillar. Be careful. Lu Tingxiao was worried that she might not see and could fall, so he hurriedly reached out to support her. Ningxi sighed, speaking with emphasis, It's not that I need to be careful, you need to be careful, Lu Tingxiao. Why do I need to be careful? Lu Tingxiao was puzzled. Ningxi naturally explained, Of course, you need to be careful with me. After soaking for a while, I found that my strength is almost restored, but the dormant fire inside me is like a volcano that could erupt at any time. So, in this situation, you better keep your distance from me. In case I lose control, the consequences will be severe. I'm telling you, even I'm scared of myself when I go crazy. Lu Tingxiao's lips slightly curled, amused by her exaggerated expression. Actually, he was quite looking forward to those consequences. The medicine is here. Do you need any help? Lu Tingxiao asked. Definitely not. For the sake of your chastity, I'll handle it myself. Ningxi said with righteousness. My chastity? Lu Tingxiao's mouth twitched. Ningxi blinked. Didn't you say you only accept sexual relationships with marriage as a premise? As a good man with upright principles, it would be a tragedy if she broke his principles. Lu Tingxiao rubbed his forehead. Was it too late to take back that statement now? After a moment of hesitation, Ningxi added, by the way, I'm not wearing anything inside. Lu Tingxiao nodded, handed her the medicine, and took the initiative to step aside. I'll wait outside for you. Okay, oh, by the way, please check if my clothes and bag are outside. Ningxi requested. Sure. Lu Tingxiao walked to the living room, searched for a moment, and found a basket of clothes in the corner. All of Ningxi's belongings were inside. Her bag emitted a faint light, indicating an incoming call on her silenced phone. Lu Tingxiao casually glanced at it, and the next moment, his pupils suddenly contracted. The incoming call displayed two clear letters, YS. It was that person whose identity he still couldn't trace. The phone was not hung up, and the screen kept flashing. Lu Tingxiao stared at it for more than 10 seconds. Finally, he picked up the phone with his slender fingers and pressed the answer key. A slight sound like pouring wine echoed from the other end of the phone. Then a hoarse male voice came, Hey, sissy, did you receive the gift? Happy birthday. Lu Tingxiao remained silent. Hey? About 5 seconds later, when Lu Tingxiao thought the other party wouldn't speak anymore, that somewhat charming voice echoed again, Heh, aren't you Ningxi? Lu Tingxiao still remained silent. Then, the sound of tapping a glass or some glassware rhythmically came from the other end, and the man continued with a tone full of interest, So, who are you? Let me guess, definitely a man who's with her at this time, a one-night stand? Or are you in a relationship? The man paused, a low and sly laugh hiding a dangerous malice in his tone. Heh, if you're in a relationship, did she tell you that she's two-timing? Yes, there's another boat, and that's me. What did he mean? Just when Lu Tingxiao wanted to coax more information, the phone suddenly went black, shutting down automatically due to low battery.